Okay, now in this one I want to go over what if I have an array with a bunch of stuff in it, but I want to pick out a random element. So let's say I have an array. Well, let word equals, and we're going to pick out all the letters in a word, like cabbage, I guess. And we're going to make an array out of that. Let word array equals, well, word dot split, and that should give me an array of all the letters. No, oh, I gotta put an empty string in there. There we go. I got the letters for the word cabbage. What if I want to pick out a random element? Well, I can pick out an element by just doing 0 like that. That picks C. That also works for the string. I can do that with the string as well. I don't need to go to an array. So it works for the string as well as it works for the array. The 0th element is C in both. How do I pick a random one? Well, I need a random number between 0 and I need to know the length of this letter, this word. Well, I could count it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It is 7 letters long, so it must go from 0 to 6. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 7 things if you start counting at 0. So I don't want to go beyond. I want to pick a random number between 0 and 6, and that's how I'm going to pick a random letter. So how do I do that? Well, I'm going to say let rand equal math.random. That'll give me my random decimal. I'm going to multiply that by 7 because there's 7 things in the list. And then I'm going to say math.floor. So that should generate a random number between 0 and 6. I'm going to, so the word, once I choose a random number, I'm going to say take that element from word and show it to me. Every time I run this, I'll get a different letter from the word cabbage. Very good. What if I want to run this quite a bit so I can make sure that all my letters are from there? I can just say for I equals 0, for I less than 100, I plus plus. So I'm just going to wrap this in a for loop. I'm going to save it and run it. It generates 100 things. Oh, 100 bees. Oh, I gotta run this a bunch of times. So I'm going to declare the variable. We'll say let rand. Alright, and then every time it runs, I'm going to set rand to some random number, and then I'm going to pick a letter. So I need to do that every time I run the loop. Alright, there we go. So it does some duplicates. You'll see it does a couple C's in a row, then a G, an A, an E. And as you can see, it's always things that come from the word cabbage. So here's 100 randomly chosen letters from the word cabbage. So that's how you would choose a random thing from within an array. But what if I didn't know what the word was going to be? What if I let the user pick a word? So what if I say let word equals prompt, pick any word. Alright, so now I have no idea how long my word is. What if I pick a longer word? So if I do that and it's like, well, I can't see it. Pick any word. What I do, delicious. Is that how you spell that? 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that's longer. So do I ever get an S? No, because S is element 7, index 7, and I only go to 6. So I never get an S, but I get every other letter. Do I get U? I don't see any U's, so I think I'm missing U and S. Okay, so I need to adapt this to the length of the word delicious. But what if I don't do delicious? What if I run it again, and this time I choose cat? What's going to happen? Well, when I'm going to get all the letters of cat, but when I go, cat only has 3 letters, so once I get a random number beyond 2, it can't find that because it's not in the word. So I'm getting these could cause errors in my program if it tries to do something with undefined return value. So I need it to match my word. So how do I do that? Well, whatever I pick for my word, that's how big this number needs to be. So instead of putting a 7 here, I could just say word.length, and that will tell me how long the word is. Maybe I'll start with console.log word.length so I can see that in my code. And then when I run it, pick a word, happy. I don't get outside the range. I get every letter, and I know that it is 5 letters long, so that works. So you often need to know how long something is, and you can just do word.length or array.length, and you can figure out how long it is. You'll multiply that by the random number generator built into the math object of JavaScript. That'll give you a random number from 0 to whatever that length is. And so at max, I guess it could technically, like when this was 7, when the word was 7 letters long, it's basically going to go between 0 and 7. It's very unlikely to hit 0 or 7 on the nose. It's most likely to be some decimal point up to like 6.9 something. You know, it's unlikely to get to 7. So if I just say math.floor, that should do it. That should force it round down. So if I have 6.9, it would round down to 6. So that's why we put 7 here, but it only goes from 0 to 6. So then you need the floor to wrap that and round it down aggressively. So that's how you can pick a random number from a list. And that's kind of just what I want to cover here. It's pretty important when you want to just sort of pick something from random.